All right. Welcome to another episode of Mastering Entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Ravi Parashar, and this is our first Zoom podcast. So, welcome to the age of Corona 19, COVID 19, whatever it's called. And today, my guest is Alaina McClue. Hello, Alaina.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Good. Enjoying another day inside.
Another day inside. That's right.
Yeah.
We are well past 2 weeks. I think now it's 3 weeks since we had the stay indoors order.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute, and it's been even longer since we've been able to record a podcast episode. So thank you for making yourself available for the show. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I feel honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's quite the honor to be on the show, so you should feel that way. So I wanted to ask you, you're in Louisiana right now.
Yes.
How is everything down there?
We definitely have a lot of cases right now, or at least a very high death rate. Who knows how many cases there are? But I think it just has to do with the demographic. We already tend to have a lot of obesity and diabetes rates in this area. So I think the population is just more at risk than some other parts of the country, maybe.
Sure.
But we're making it. We've been through a lot. Usually our struggles have to do with not having electricity or access to food and basic necessities. So I feel like just being able to operate and function without worrying about your immediate safety, you feel like you can really handle it. It's personally been affected by the virus, but yeah, I know a lot of people who have. So it's sad, but we're still making it. Strong morale overall, it seems. So what can you do?
Yeah, Louisiana goes through tough times all the time. So you've got some resilient folks down there. So you grew up down in Louisiana. So that obviously you're one of these resilient folks.
I like to think so. Yeah.
Tell me what it was like growing up in Louisiana. Give me some of your background.
Sure. So I was born in New Orleans, and I immediately started getting involved in like the music scene in the area. My mom put me in music lessons when I was like 5, I think.
Wow.
And I was studying under notable jazz musicians in the area. So from a very young age, I was heavily in the arts. Have kind of like a big traditional Southern family. My mom's one of 11, and my dad's one of 5. So family has always been a big part of my life, and we all live in the New Orleans area. So started off just singing. Then I started taking piano lessons, and then I did theater, and then I started taking guitar lessons. And I think I had like my first public performance when I was like 6 at like a bitty basketball championship. But there was actually a lot of people there. I wish I could find the video. I'll have to find that one of these days. And I sung the national anthem. So my whole life just basically grew up in the New Orleans area, specifically like the mid-city area. Then when Katrina hit, I started going to school about 30 minutes outside of the city for a couple years. Didn't really like that much. And then I ended up going back to high school at St. Mary's Dominican, which is an all-girls high school, all-girls Catholic high school. So that was pretty fun at times. um, and then I went to university right across the street at Xavier University. So I kind of stayed in the same area. And then all of a sudden, I plucked myself and went to the other side of the country to do the Masters of Innovation and Entrepreneurship program with you in Irvine, Orange County, California. So this has been definitely a new journey in my life. A very eye-opening experience. And this is another new journey, eye-opening experience with COVID. So the past few months have been very interesting for me. I'm sure you can say the same though as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up here in California, so it's you know, it's definitely different for me. But you know, you stayed your whole life in Louisiana and then move out here to the Golden Coast, and you only get to stay for about 6 months before something catastrophic happens, and then you're like, no, I got to run back home, make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah.
So that's insane. Well, you know, that's good, that you have that resilience, because I think being an entrepreneur right now is going to be exponentially more difficult than it was just a few weeks ago. You know, it's a different time. We're in a different economy. We have different challenges now. However, I know that your business, our business, so I should also explain this to the audience that Alaina and I are partners. We have a couple other partners as well, and we are in a program where we've been developing this business idea. And we recently, just yesterday, I guess, received notification.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Okay. Received a notification that we had our idea accepted into an incubator. So it's a real idea now, and it's growing.
Real. It's really real.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, that's great, but here we are in this new age, this new era of remote working, which makes it difficult to stay on track and continue development. But I think a lot of those small resiliencies that our team has is what's actually getting us pushing forward, even when the world seems to have come to a halt. So, right. But I don't want to say too much about it because you're a guest on my show. So let's have you tell people about the project and what it is that we're working on.
So we are working on a project. The current name that we have that we really love is Wave Wearable, and we are providing unwavering treatment for unwavering lifestyles. And the first product that we're doing that with is a hand brace to treat conditions like carpal tunnel or arthritis. And we're going to do that by making the standard hand brace high tech, and we're going to incorporate sensors that administer outputs to treat inflammation and pain for patients. And those outputs will be controlled by a mobile app that will not only allow them to control the outputs on our high-tech brace, but they can also log their symptoms, log their treatment, participate in guided stretches similar to what one would get in physical therapy. So it has, you know, consumer product elements and a SaaS element, and I'm very excited about it. It's been a long time coming, but we have a even longer future ahead.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Tell us the origin story, because what attracted me to this project was that you had a personal connection with how you came up with the idea. And I also have a personal connection to carpal tunnel syndrome. My mother had it, and she suffered from it for years and had to go through surgery and all this terrible stuff. And so I really understood what type of pain people have to go through. So what was your story and how you got connected to it?
Right. So I previously worked at a dental office. I worked in that office for 4 years. And dental offices tend to be stressful, fast-paced environments. But a really stressful time I had in that office was when my boss, the dentist, got carpal tunnel. She went through the standard treatment process. She started with the brace, then she started taking anti-inflammatory medication, and she started getting the corticosteroid injections. She went through the whole process, and up until the point where she had to get surgery. And so when she had to get surgery, that also included a long rehabilitation period, which means herself, the dentist, could not work. And so as a small business owner, that hit her really hard. It hit her business hard and was a very stressful moment for not only her, but everyone in the office. And through that experience, I started looking into carpal tunnel syndrome, the treatments, how it affects people. And after many iterations of ideation, this idea formed.
Yeah. So you were working there for 4 years. During that time, was there ever another down period like that? Like other than her getting carpal tunnel?
Where we were, no.
No, so it was just that.
No,
and you guys,
I mean,
this was in New Orleans, right? You guys get hurricanes, you have all kinds of stuff that
yeah,
shuts that place down.
yeah,
And it was carpal tunnel that closed that office.
yeah,
Yeah, so that
yeah,
tells you how strong this
yeah,
is, how much of a problem it is, how debilitating a disease like this can be. So yeah, that's a pretty good story for you know, having a personal touch to this disorder. So how have you been? Maybe I'm not the best person to do this interview because because I already know
like
everything.
You know so much about
yeah,
me.
I know everything. So I'm trying to ask you questions. Let's see. Well, let's talk about the device, right? You said it's a high-tech medical device that's a wearable orthopedic wrist brace. What exactly do the treatments do?
So right now we are prototyping a brace that administers red light therapy, which is it's a new treatment option out there, but there's a lot of good reviews on its benefits for reducing inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And also the other treatment that we're prototyping is electric stimulation, which is basically TENS. So that minimizes pain by basically tricking the nerves into not, transmitting those pain signals to your brain. So attacking the inflammation and the pain involved with the condition. And carpal tunnel is really an inflammation-based condition, and those type of problems tend to persist, which is what makes them so irritating. So many different factors can cause inflammation, from, your gender to just your day-to-day habits and even your diet. And so it's very finicky. It's very finicky, which is what makes it so irritating for many people to get rid of or just to deal with. Many people deal with inflammation problems for decades and decades. I mean, arthritis, it's a prime
Yeah.
example.
Right.
So, yeah,
So
just focus on attacking those issues.
you used an acronym, TENS, TENS,
Yeah.
and to clarify, that stands for transcutaneous electroneurostimulation. So if anybody wanted to look that up online to fact check, the technology, that's what you can look up: TENS or red light therapy. Red light therapy also goes by a dozen other names: low level laser treatment. Um, there's all these other acronyms for it. Photobiomodulation
Yeah.
was one of them. So all of those things are the same. So if anybody wants to do some research on that technology, to look at, studies or anything like that, that's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Okay, so that's the device. It's a wearable device. And tell me about the app. What does the app do?
So the app is going to be a freemium model. The basic model will allow you to control the outputs on the brace, and the premium model will allow you to log symptoms, log your treatment, participate in guided stretches. We're looking into ways of incorporating data so that the users can learn about their habits and how they're affecting their pain management. So basically just a health tracker app, which is something that I personally use and love. It helps you when you go to the doctor, which I love. I go into the doctor, and if they ask you if you have issues, you can just pull it up on your app, and I use that all the time just to better help diagnose issues you may have, give a more accurate timeline of what you're experiencing. So that's the basis of the app, and hopefully we can really incorporate some great data into the app so that we can really be able to pinpoint maybe some of the things that cause carpal tunnel syndrome, how treatment should be affecting you. Because if people are logging their treatment, after periods of data collection, we can say at this point you should be experiencing benefits from that additional treatment you may be getting. If you're not, then maybe the injections aren't helping you, or maybe that anti-inflammatory medication really isn't helping you. So being able to incorporate aspects like that, I think it's not only a great way for carpal tunnel syndrome treatment, but this could be used for various methods of treatment.
Yeah,
which is super exciting.
Any type of pain management, or if you have, I guess, any type of medical treatment that you're going through and you wanted to track it and track your progress and gather data about it, just so you could understand it better. And you can also remind your doctor. And, one time I got pretty sick. I have a inflammation disorder as well. And it was like all the joints in my body were turning to stone. And it was terrible. It was horrible. I couldn't move. And, my girlfriend seen me like that, and it was just bad news. And when every time I would go to the doctor, they would just be like, it was like I had to tell them all over again everything that I happened.
And how do you remember all that stuff? How do you accurately remember all that stuff? You might only go to your doctor once a year. I mean, if it's severe, you're going to see them more often, but still.
Well, and if it's really severe and you got to go to the emergency room because you need some immediate relief, you need to get some, powerful painkillers injected into you, which I had to get steroids. They didn't give me shots, but they gave me pills of steroids. and it was a high dose of them. So just like knocks all the inflammation out of your body, but it really does a lot of damage. And they told me, I had to re-explain everything. So it was like early in the week, and I had gotten one dose of steroids, and I was good for a couple of days. And then the symptoms recurred, and I went straight to the emergency room, went into the doctor, and I was like, give me steroids. They had to completely review everything and ask me a million questions all over again. And just so they could find out that they know nothing new. And I think if I had that data available to them, I mean, they even made me do a second chest x-ray so they could rule out certain diseases. I was like, I just had a chest x-ray the other day in the doctor's office. So why am I doing it again? And before they would make any recommendations, they were like, yeah, no, I can't make a recommendation unless I see your chest x-ray. And they couldn't access it online. I was like, I just had it. They must have uploaded it to some kind of online portal where you could view it. But no, they had nothing. So if I had that data available to me, my own data, I think I would have been able to share in much greater detail and speed that process up. So no matter what the pain is, no matter what happens, I think that this app could really help. It doesn't have to be carpal tunnel. It could be any kind of pain disorder. So that's really cool. Okay, so what are the future plans? Right now you have a wrist brace.
Yes.
And what's in store down the road?
So we just added a great technical team member who is jumping into prototyping. So that's super exciting. Hopefully we can have something that we can hold and show on your podcast in the near future.
Yeah.
So that's the most immediate and probably the most crucial aspect that we need at the moment. But we're also looking into just opportunities to raise funds. So competitions, pitch competitions, business plan competitions. Hopefully in this new incubator, we'll be able to use a lot of legal resources or just business development resources so we can organize our corporation in the future. Plan go-to-market strategies. So everything.
Everything's in the works. Yeah. I meant like, so that's kind of like, short-term future, the next year or two. I mean, like, where do you see this going in 5 years?
In 5 years, hopefully we have a lot of sales, a lot of very happy customers, a strong manufacturing process.
And more wearable devices, right? So
yes,
stepping out of that single wrist brace and doing knee braces and ankle braces and wherever you're hurting on your body,
right.
we can help you with some type of wearable device to help you manage the pain, track it, and hopefully it could be just like the wrist brace, and we can deploy technology that will help treat those symptoms, get that pain level down, get the inflammation down, and build some successful outcomes for people who are suffering.
Definitely.
Okay, so what else do you want to talk about, Alaina?
What else? Does it have to just be about me? I want to have a conversation about maybe our team. What's it like working with me? And how do I like working with Robbie?
Yeah, how do you like working with me? Let's do that. I
I
mean,
think
working with you. I'll start. Uh, working with you is it's good because you are highly motivated to make this happen, and you're kind of like a no bullshit kind of personality. You're just like, let's do this, let's get this, let's go, and like, every day, in the program, us working on this business, you're calling me or texting me or
is this a
or something,
complaint as
and like,
well? Is this also a complaint?
uh, it's it's not a complaint, it's a compliment. That's good. You're a good boss. So how is it working with me?
I love it. You have a great personality. It makes you very easy to work with, but you can also, you know, stick people with the hard truth when they need it.
Mm, I
So
get that a lot. I get
I
that
think
one a
that's
lot.
good. I think that's good. And that's a personality types that I'm usually used to dealing with. I feel like there's a lot of people in my family that you kind of remind me of. So
Mm,
even before we paired up for this program, I don't know, you were always just someone that I was very comfortable talking to in a world where they have all these different types of personalities. Because
hmm
the New Orleans personalities are very is, and you don't see that much in California.
mm.
Ooh, hello, am I back?
Yeah, there you go. Now you're back.
Hello.
Do you got me?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
So you were
Technology.
saying, yeah, you were saying there's not a lot of personalities like me in California.
No.
I thought I was just a weirdo, but it turns out that I'm from the South. No, no. Yeah, that's a compliment, I think.
It is, but I think we'll have a better idea of each other once we really start getting into stressful situations.
hmm
We haven't really had those yet, which is
Well,
interesting. We had a couple of deadlines, but things have never really gotten like you
yeah,
know.
yeah. The shit hasn't hit the fan. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
I tell
Oops.
people I won't. I tell people I won't cuss on the show. Um, I promised Born. Like
Oh,
he has to censor me on YouTube.
oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it hasn't really. We haven't really hit any big static, but we have had our fair share of challenges. We get like when we started working with the engineer and he was all gung ho and ready to go, and then poof, disappeared, and we're trying to call him, and and we were ready to go on the prototyping, and then just the bottom fell out. So then we had to go back to square one and start talking to people again, and um, that was annoying. But like, yeah, see, that was a challenge. We lost some time there. Like we could be a little further ahead. Um, but I guess that's how it goes. We'll just
Yeah.
got to keep rolling with the punches.
And the ecosystem in Orange County really allowed us to bounce back quickly. So that's great. I think the ecosystem and just the resources in the area is one of the main things that has been super eye-opening to me.
hmm
It's just kind of um, night and day. You hear people talk about California, specifically Silicon Valley, and how, it's bustling with resources and technology and new businesses. But experiencing it firsthand, it's super eye opening. And it's like, whoa, this is a completely different lifestyle, completely different, you know, area of opportunity.
Hmm.
Um,
It's like
so I think,
a different pace. There's like a different tempo out here. I mean, we're both musicians, so I think I could use some musical terminology, but there's, we follow the beat of a different drum in California. I've been to New Orleans. I've spent like a week there, but um, it was totally different. People in California are like rude, mean, and it's because there's traffic everywhere. It's just terrible all the time. Our public transportation sucks, and we just spend all of our time in traffic on the freeways. That's why we're all salty. But
I will say, and it's probably just an Orange County thing, but the fast food servers are crazy nice. That is something you will never get in
yeah.
Southern Louisiana.
Hmm.
Everyone's super nice at like any fast food service. That's that is shocking to me.
But that's because the customers are so mean. That they have to be so nice. Someone walks up, yeah, let me get a cheeseburger. Okay, sir, one cheeseburger. How would you like that prepared? Like they really got to be on top of their game, or else they'll be like, "Oh, I said a cheeseburger," throw their cell phone at them. It's terrible. California's crazy. I used to work in a restaurant. That's why I know this.
Okay.
What else have you noticed that's strange about California?
Whew. What else have I noticed? That's strange. So many things. I mean, I've lived with roommates for the first time, so
Mm.
that's just strange. Because I stay with my family because my
You,
old Xavier University is like 5 minutes from my grandma's house.
mm.
So I never had the roommate deal. So my first time, well, it was my first time having roommates.
Hmm.
So sharing a space with people,
Yeah,
yikes.
I mean that sucks, but I guess you just get used to it. I've had roommates for forever, and then now I live with
Yeah,
my girlfriend, so it's like I have a permanent roommate.
yeah. Oh, Californians are crazy about recycling.
Yep. You don't
Super crazy.
recycle down there in the South?
I mean, I have a recycling bin in my house, but you typically wouldn't see like recycling bins in public spaces.
Oh,
Yeah, that's kind of a rare thing.
yeah.
Like people
Irvine
used
is,
to recycle in your own home and schools may do
yeah,
it, but like you wouldn't go to an eating area and have like recycling bins all over the place.
yeah. That's true. Irvine is like that more so. I'd say it's kind of tough if you go into LA and other parts of California, but
But it's
California is
just
so big. There's like so many different subcultures and environments.
it's just like the personal perception behind recycling. I feel like I would be judged if I put plastic in a regular trash bin and not in recycling. I feel like people would run behind me with pitchforks because
Hmm.
everyone's just super
Yeah, no,
like
that's
recycle, which
right.
is great, but this is new, you know. But it's a great mindset to have.
You better be recycling. I'm a Californian. Seriously.
Yeah,
I was just Gabby just joined our team on the podcast. So she's all about sustainability. So I'll get her, I'll get SML, and I'll get my girlfriend Anna, and they'll gang up on you if you don't recycle.
I didn't say I wasn't. I just said I felt like if I was ever in the position and I couldn't find the recycling bin, I just wanted to pitch it in the trash, I would be, scorned
Nope,
severely.
you hold it. You hold it till you find a bin. That's it. You just keep walking. I know it's kind of ridiculous, and I'll be walking around with an empty plastic cup for half the day because I'm, in the business school or whatever, and you can't find a recycling bin, but that's what you do. It's California. So
Yeah.
yeah, Southern California cares. We care about the environment.
You do.
Um, I would think that Louisiana would share that also with all the oil spills and the crazy stuff that happens, you know, down there, that there would be more environmentalists.
I mean, I feel like California is just so ahead of everyone when it comes to environmental concerns.
Mm,
Like, of course, recycling is something you're supposed to do. Of course, you know, all these other like carbon emission, you know about it, but it's not as much of a part as everyone's everyday lives.
mhm,
Um, yeah, there's definitely a lot of trash, like litter in New Orleans.
mm.
So, yeah. But I mean, situations like oil spills, that's just detrimental, like corporate misbehavior. That had nothing to do with what the people thought.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Um, let's see. Okay, so we talked about Louisiana. You've grown up in Louisiana. You have a background in music, and accounting and dental, uh, office work. You weren't a dentist, but you worked in the dental office. Um, and we talked about Wave Wearable, the current project. So let's say after you exit Wave Wearable, you exit the business. What what would you want to do next? Do you have any idea?
That depends on how much money is in my pocket.
Well, let's say it's enough. It's enough. It's enough to do. What would you want to do?
Focus on music or just something more artistic in general.
Hmm.
Uh, Definitely. Like if money was not a factor at all,
Just go
100.
straight to retirement. Yeah, that's what I would do too. Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's exactly what I would do. I would stay at home, play the piano, play the guitar, cook. Is
What are
that
you
it?
cooking? What's
What's
on the
that?
cooking? I didn't know you
What's
like to cook.
I do like to, I took some cooking classes in community college, and like one of them was like an actual culinary class, and then another one was a biology class. So it was actually like it was called the biology of cooking, and it was about like the different chemical reactions that are happening and how we metabolize things and nutrition and all of that stuff, and learning about what the different foods are, carbohydrates and trans fats, saturated fats, um, all of those different things. And uh, the one culinary class was like mostly about like technique, like julienne and fine chopping and mincing garlic and how to cut, do knife
Oh,
work and whatever. Yeah. So um, when I took those classes, I realized like food is it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, I like cooking, but I don't like cooking for like one or two people. I think it's just weird.
okay.
I'd
Interesting.
rather, yeah, I just don't and I really don't know how to portion things correctly. Like, because if I'm gonna chop an onion, I want to chop the whole onion. But if I'm cooking for one person, I'm not going to eat an entire onion in this dish, right? So I normally end up cooking like 6 servings of a dish, and then I'm either like backlogged and eating the same thing for several days, or I just end up overeating, just like ridiculous amounts of food. So right now my girlfriend cooks a lot, so she does most of the cooking. Um, I would say I'm a better cook because she's not in the room right now. So I would say I'm a better
Are you
cook,
sure
but
she's
yeah, she's not
not
listening.
listening?
She's
Really?
she went to go do the laundry. She's in the laundry room.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's safe. But she'll hear this on the show later. So I'll get in trouble. I'll pay the price later, I'm sure. Um, but she's gotten to be a good cook because now she cooks most of the time, and she orders um, recipes from the subscription food service. So they send the exact amount of ingredients, and like I help her because I have better knife handling skills than her. I had to buy her one of those safety gloves because she kept cutting herself. And then now I'll just go in there and I'll cut everything. Say again?
No safety gloves for cooking was a thing until you told me about that you bought
Oh
her
yeah,
some.
yeah, yeah. It's like chain mail, like old, Renaissance era knight in shining armor kind of chainmail glove. So it's just a knife hits it and it won't cut through.
How do you keep it clean when you're cooking and food's around and stuff?
I don't. Well, it is fabric also. You just wash it like a regular glove, and it's stainless steel, so it doesn't like rust.
Okay.
But it's flexible you know like a regular glove. But yeah, it's. So she has one of those. But yeah, I enjoy cooking. Do you like cooking? You're a cook. You don't get a chance to cook.
I really like baking more than I like cooking.
Hmm.
Um, back to my all girl high school days, like baked goods was like currency. So I used to bake a lot.
Hmm.
And recently I like baked creme brulee for the first time. So that was cool.
That is cool.
Usually when we have like our Sunday dinners, I'll bake something um, for like the extended family.
Hmm.
So I really like baking more than cooking, but every now and then, yeah. So since I've been home, my dad's been cooking every day, which is great. I mean, sometimes I wish he would wait for me to help him, 'cause I think he could use it.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's
he
just
just
so
gets a lot.
boring now, right? We're at home all the time. So someone's like, "Oh, I'm going to cook," and we're like, "Oh, I'll help you." Oh, I think I'm going to clean the patio today. Oh, I'll come and help you. uh, okay, so I like to ask a few questions at the end. We're approaching the end of our session here, so I'll let you get back to life in New Orleans. Um, I guess the one question that I ask everybody is, what is your favorite emoji?
My favorite emoji. I don't know what you call it, but I use the one a lot where it's like the kind of, I don't know what you call it, like it's like a satisfied face where like the eyes go like that. That's what I consider it. I don't know if I can show it. This
Yeah.
one, that one,
Oh, okay.
that one. I
One
don't
of these.
know.
One of these.
Yeah. Or I like to use the doo doo emoji too.
The poop emoji? That's a good one. That was let's see, who else has that one? Amy likes the poop emoji. Amy from Volunteer Crowd. She's the CEO of Volunteer Crowd. She likes that one. No one has done that satisfied face emoji yet, though. So that
All
one.
the time. Like when I don't know what to say, I just send that, and I feel like I feel like it
It's
goes on my
ambiguous.
personality. I'm just like,
It's an ambiguous emoji that people are like, oh, okay. They're happy, or if you're supposed to be sad, they just project that on there. Oh, it's kind of, oh, okay. Very
exactly.
nice. Very nice. I don't even know what my favorite emoji is, but um, I think I use the laughing with the tears a lot. Laughing so hard I'm crying.
Everyone. That's a pretty
Pretty common.
common.
Yeah, that's the one I use a lot, and then thumbs up. That's pretty much it.
Oh, you're so boring. Really,
Yeah,
Robbie?
I don't. My emoji game is not as strong. I mean, um, I don't use them a whole lot. Some people just like send their entire text message in emojis. And what's strange is that like you can understand them. Like, oh, they left to get a newspaper and a cup of coffee. That's where I'm like, hey, where'd you go? Newspaper, coffee. Oh, okay, they're to take a coffee break. Interesting. Um, okay, let's see. What else? Um, you have any questions for me?
Questions for you. Sure. How did this podcast come about? I don't think I ever heard, which is weird. I feel like I should know that, but I don't know what made you decide to become a podcaster. It
You
makes
know,
sense.
I've done podcasts in the past. I guess it all started back when I was doing, this is kind of dating myself, like 10 years ago or so. I myself and my cousin started this YouTube channel called Downtown Update, and he was the host of the show, and we would go into downtown Huntington Beach at night, and there's just a bunch of bars and college kids and whatever, getting drunk and partying, and we would just hang out outside the bars on the street and interview drunk people or sober people if they were sober, but it was rare that you would find a sober person. And that's pretty much how I got into like making shows. And we did that like, I mean, YouTube was pretty new and people weren't like monetizing on YouTube. It was really just a bunch of weird random videos and cat videos and stuff like that. And I guess it hasn't changed that much, but yeah, we did that, and then we started coming up with all these ideas, and we did that for like 3 years. We were doing that show, and like you could still find the channel Downtown Update uh, on YouTube. So there's like 300 videos or something on there. And after that, I started getting into cryptocurrency, and that was 2014, 2015, and in 2016 or 2017, I was with a show called Crypto Currently. My co-host was Eric Moltar in Detroit. He's out there, and we were doing that for a little while. And when Bitcoin and all these altcoins were booming, and there was a big rush, and we were trying to report real news because everyone was getting scammed in the industry. And so I did that. And then I did another show called Token TV for just a couple of episodes. because I had a contract with someone and they were supposed to pay me in Bitcoin every week that we produced the show and released the episode. And after like the first week, we're like, oh, hey, show's up, whatever, send the Bitcoin to my wallet. Didn't get the payment, and I reached out to him the next week after we did the show. Hey, didn't receive the Bitcoin payment, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll make sure I send it this week. I have to remove it from my offline wallet, which makes sense. It's a security thing. You keep your Bitcoin so it can't be stolen or hacked. And I was like, okay. We did it for like another couple weeks, no Bitcoin, and then I was just like, what the hell? So I stopped doing the show. They never paid me. Yeah, and just kind of got screwed. So yeah, it was that sucked. And then I got turned off to podcasting for a while. But when I came into this program and I started meeting people, I met Born and Enzo and Josh and Marion, and everyone was all about doing a podcast. And like the first week of school, we went over to the Entrepreneur Center and we started talking to Jean. We were like, hey, we want to do a podcast about entrepreneurship and all this stuff. And then I think our team was too big and it was going to be like a huge show with like 5 people on it talking all at once. And we kind of had analysis paralysis and nothing happened and we just all kind of moved on. And then Born and I decided to revisit the project and just bring it on. He has the technical skills to produce the show. I got the personality, yeah, and then that's how it came to be. And I just started, and I realized, entrepreneurs love talking about themselves, so there should be no shortage of content or people to interview. And yeah, so that's kind of how it worked. That's the origin story. But I wanted
Yeah, I
to
didn't know
really
you.
discover. The point was to discover like what is the common thing? Why are all entrepreneurs so much different? But we all have this commonality that we're entrepreneurs. And is there something else that binds us together? So
Any
that was
hypothesis?
no, we're still searching for it, man. Because so I did a show interviewing Gabby, and I tried to explain it to her. And there, you can't like bring all of these entrepreneurs and put them in the same bucket. You can't be like, you can't write a demographic about what an entrepreneur is. They're single mothers. They are, ex-cons. They're very wealthy, successful, straight edge people. There's people who are atheists. There's people who are Christians. There's people who are Muslim. There's no like religious demographic. There's no racial demographic. There's no age demographic. It's something else. There's some kind of character thing that that we all have. And I don't know what it is. And I think it's really just the common thing that happened to all of us is we found a problem that we want to solve, and we are crazy enough to think that we can do it. And that's about it. You got to be a little bit crazy, because I mean, when you come up with some abstract idea and you want to bring it into reality, that's the first thing that everybody tells you is you're crazy. It's like, oh wow, you want to make a high-tech wrist brace that connects to your smartphone? That's kind of crazy. you know, we didn't really get a whole lot of that about the wrist brace, though.
I wouldn't say people thought it was crazy, but there definitely have been people that have tested the viability of it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Not too straight up. Oh, this is crazy. It'll never happen. But
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on the show. I appreciate you taking the time away from your family and cooking with your pops.
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And
Finally.
good luck with Wave Wearable, and stay safe down there in New Orleans while you're on break. Well, I guess you're not on break, but while you're home.
Yeah. All right. You as well. Stay safe and good luck on Wave Wearable.
Thank you. Thank you. One of my many projects.
Thank you guys so much for watching and being part of the podcast. Don't forget to share this with all your friends and family. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Don't forget TikTok. If you want to get in touch with us, go ahead and email us at info@miepodcast.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.